So I guess moving on to our closing plenary speaker. She's one of the 3 founder directors of UTV, India's foremost media and entertainment conglomerate. She has been featured in Business Today's Most Powerful Woman in India for the last 3 years. She is currently the founder and managing trustee of the Swadhyas Foundation. And the Swadhyas Foundation has been working to empower 1 million villagers through a multi-sectorial approach called the 360 degrees model, where they focus on holistic development of a community. So please welcome on stage Ms. Zarina Skrvala.
Hi, I'm glad the podium is nice and low so I can be seen because I'm 5 foot nothing. I really enjoyed that panel. I really enjoyed it. I found so many similarities, yet differences with India, where I come from. We still, 60 years later, struggle with so many of the same problems. And I think a really interesting dialogue could happen between Myanmar and India to try and figure out best practices. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Unfortunately, my introduction kind of gave my story away a bit, but okay, fine. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Okay, great. Why are you all sitting so far back? Is there some reason or anyway? Okay. So at the Swadhyas Foundation, let me first tell you what Swadhyas means. Swa is the self, Swa. It's the higher self. It's not the day-to-day self. It's the higher self. Little with a touch of soul, if you like. And Des means country. So Swadesh means my country. And when you say it, you don't mean just your own country. You really mean it in a very inclusive way, like almost like my country, my world, humanity in general. That's the feeling behind Swadesh, the name Swadesh. Also, we made a really popular movie, which I don't know if any of you have seen, called Swadesh, and kind of renamed our very small NGO into Swadesh, but that's another story. So we have a dream to empower 1 million people every 5 years, 1 million rural Indians every 5 years. And I'm going to tell you a little story about how it happened and where we are right now, and share a few learnings with you as well. So for 27 years, my husband Ronnie and I ran and created and worked really, really hard and had lots of failures and very, very public failures. But in the end, we turned out pretty successful. A company called UTV, which is actually India's foremost media company. Very innovative, very disruptive, like really crazy stuff we used to do. Really get a lot of brickbats also for what we did, but we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. We divested to Disney. Disney was an investor for a very long time. Like us, they share a deep respect for brand, and I think brand is really critical when you're building a media company. But in Feb 2012, we divested our stake wholly and completely to Disney. So in a sense, for me, I think I was really heartbroken, and I couldn't get up in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? But I didn't have the guts to kind of leave it because I didn't know how to do anything else. I only knew how to do broadcasting and TV shows and movies. And I didn't think that I could possibly do anything. And I went up to that piece of paper, and on it was written a few words by a Chinese philosopher, one of my favorite philosophers, Lao Tzu. And it said, when you let go of who you are, when you let go of who you are, you become what you might be. And I have people in the audience mouthing those words with me, but they made a huge, I don't know, it was this big, on a wall that was like half of this. And I knew those words were meant for me. And that evening, I went to Ronnie and I said, you know something? I'm going to leave UTV. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I have no idea. And in 1 week, I did leave. And I knew that if I took longer, I wouldn't have the guts to do it because I really didn't know what I was going to do. And I was rushing around trying to figure out, meeting friends, meeting people, wondering what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I was, of course, 53 then. 51 then. So now I'm 54. And so I rushed around, couldn't figure out what to do. And I was literally despairing and wondering if I had made a horrible mistake. Like, I couldn't figure out what to do with my life. And Ronnie told me, why don't you join SHARE? Now, SHARE was a very small NGO that Ronnie and I had been looking at, but not full-time and not with major focus and commitment, over the last 12 years. And it had done water for 39,000 people in rural India, just south of Bombay. 39,000 people drinking water. I said, Ronnie, that's too small for me. It's not fun enough. I don't want to do it. So then he said the words that sort of changed the rest of my life, I think. Let's lift 1 million people out of poverty every 5 years. So I said, oh my God, that sounds seriously crazy. Sure, I'm on, you know. So, but we were media people. So what on earth did we know about any of this? What did we know? Nothing. The honest truth is we knew nothing. However, we were honest enough to know that we knew nothing. So for 1 full year, we studied, we traveled, we went to Bangladesh. My favorite travel was to Bangladesh, to Dhaka, to meet Sir Faisal, whose model possibly is one of the best in the world in philanthropy. Unbelievable work, outstanding, I mean, like the best. But that was at the end of our journey. Like, we were actually despairing. We met philanthropists, we met government officials, we met NGOs, we went to villages, and there were huge amounts of learning that we, imbibed. And from that, we designed the model which is now Swadesh. And when we did that, a lot of people laughed at us and said, you guys are crazy, you don't know the first thing about philanthropy, you don't know the first thing about poverty, you don't know the first thing about creating wealth for others. You only know how to do it for yourself. I said, hey, wait a minute. So anyway, so what we designed was the 360-degree development model. At that time, if you Googled it, there was only one that came up, which was Columbia University, but they had, for 20 years, done only a few, 10 villages, so it was not very encouraging. And all the people we met, every single one, without exception, said, focus on one thing and do it well, you will fail. We said, we don't care, we're used to failing, and we just went out and we just did it. And what did we do? We decided that it was not enough to just lift 1 million people out of poverty. What we really wanted to do was to create a model of rural development, a model at scale that could be replicated by others, okay? So we wanted to learn, make masses of mistakes with our own money, and document it for others to follow. And we started working. So today we have, and we focus really on what we call, if I give you my card, which I haven't brought, sorry, but, and you flip it around, and it says 2 words, rural empowerment. That's what it's really about, empowering people to change their own lives. You pump in whatever money you can, but make sure your community takes up that project, pays for whatever they can, and really starts running that project by themselves over the 5-year or X-year period. We also have a 5 to 7 year window where we work in each and every village. We also have created this rather crazy idea of working in one geography. So we work in currently, we work in one contiguous geography. We work with in 3 years, we've ramped up to just an impact area of just under 500,000 people, 2,000 villages. We have 350 full-time committed grassroots execution people on the ground. We're a grassroots execution foundation. We have 1,500 volunteers, and we believe deeply, and without this, it's not possible to work in a collaborative model. So we have 35 expert partners in water, in education, in health, in livelihood, in agriculture, in skilling, that work with us on the ground in our model area. This is our model of development is now taking place at 500,000 people and 2,000 villages. And I think this creating an ecosystem is what we're really trying to do. We're trying to go step by step and slowly create this ecosystem for transformational change. That's what Swadesh is about. And I'd like Gladys, if you could just play the AV now. I want to show you what it looks like. Now, we had a small visit. We're going to have our first fundraiser. After 3 years, 2 years, we decided to take money from people. Because we thought, okay, now we have, just hold on 1 second. We have, okay, you just have a look. And I hope you know who this is. Go. So, thank you. There's just something I want to say, that, this looks really nice, right? It looks great, it looks lovely, yay, everything is fine, everything is fantastic. Let me tell you, it's not. It's hard. We have failed more times than we have succeeded. Every toilet, we have a target of 40,000 toilets for a 1 million population. In the population we work in now, it's 25,000 toilets. And in the last 3 years, we have struggled like crazy to build 7,000 toilets. We are off mark. Because each toilet presents its own unique problems. Every single toilet is a problem. Every single one. Every single water project that we do in our communities has its own different problems. We thought we'd learned this, then we learned that. We learned this, then we learned that. We're always learning. So what I want to tell you is that philanthropy, venture capitalism, social change is very hard. And when you make mistakes, don't give up. Just keep going. You are going to make mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, honestly, you're doing nothing. If you're not making mistakes, you should pack up and go home, because obviously you're not doing anything. Then you're a command and control. You really don't want that. You really want a little bit of chaos. You really want challenge. Otherwise, why are you doing this work? I know why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because every single day of my life, there is a new challenge to solve. Completely new. Something totally that I've not heard of before. Like, what the hell is this now? Let's think about it. Let's call everyone together and let's solve this problem. So that's what you really need to think. Also, I think what's very interesting is that we have found incredible similarities between our work in media and our work in philanthropy. The first thing we have learned is, and you'll understand when I say it, that without it in media, you just cannot succeed. But also in philanthropy, you cannot succeed if you do not know your customer, your consumer, your community. If you do not know them, if you do not respect them, if you do not spend enough time with them, and if you cannot grow to love and respect them, you will never be able to reach your consumer, your customer, or your community. And that is the first lesson that media has taught us. The second thing that media has taught us is collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. You cannot have a hit movie without a massive collaboration. Everybody intuitively understands that. But let me tell you, you cannot do philanthropy without everyone on your side. You need everyone on your side. And at the heart of it is the community. First, you need the community on your side. Hell with everybody else. First, get them on your side. It might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 5 years, but if you don't have them on your side, you cannot work. So if necessary, if you're a very big philanthropic organization, work with local NGOs, because they have the customer, the consumer, the community on their side. Build trust with your consumer or your community. It's identical lessons in media or in any brand building or any business enterprise, okay? The next is have accountability for what you do. At Swadesh, we want to build a world-class organization. We don't want to say, oh, we're doing charity, we're doing philanthropy. It's okay if we mess up. It's okay, we're doing good work. It's okay, don't worry. No. You hold your own staff accountable. Not just that, you hold your partners accountable. Not just that, you hold the government accountable to keep their promises that they made you because you've collaborated with them. And they promised you, say, anemia medicine for 1,200 schools that we work in right now. They promised it. Now, if they don't give it, I'm going to get really mad with them, loudly, clearly, and absolutely. I will be mad with them, and I will be mad in public with them. And I've warned them that if you're promising to give me the medicines, and you're telling me don't give your own medicines, then you have to give it to me on time, and they have promised. And last but not the least, hold your community accountable. They must deliver on the promises that they have made. If they have promised to pay you X amount of money, when the toilet is complete, they must pay it. Hold them accountable. Don't let them get away with stuff just because they're poor. No, don't treat them like that. You're actually creating the opposite of what empowerment is. Hold them accountable. Let them really struggle to give you that money. It's good for them. Really trust me on this one. Try and make it as sustainable as possible. And in the end, the community has to participate in the change. If they don't, the minute you leave, it's gone. It's going to be dust. These are our lessons, okay? The biggest challenge that anyone faces, anywhere, and most particularly here, is changing mindsets. And I think all of you spoke about that. And that is something you really need to think about. These are soft issues. How are you going to know, firstly, what are the mindsets of your community? You must know it. And if you don't, you cannot do philanthropy. And this is what, as media people, we do really well. We know the mindset. We know what they want. We know their dreams and aspirations. At Swadesh, we believe that poverty is both material, but more importantly, it is mental. Poverty, according to us, is the lack of ability to dream. The lack of ability to dream about a future for yourself and your family. You can't even imagine it. You don't have a dream. That's poverty. And that's what we at Swadesh work really hard to eliminate. Even if we can't always meet all their dreams and expectations, if they don't dream, how will it ever be achieved? Teach them to dream. Not in a foolish way, but in a real way. And slowly build their aspirations. Slowly, step by step by step. This is the only way to do it. Okay, guys? The other thing is, I just want to say as I end that really and truly, this last 3 years of my life has been an absolute learning curve, has been this steep, like maybe this steep, frankly. I knew nothing, now I know something, so it's sort of like going like this. And I want to keep it at that. I want to keep it, because if I do this, then I'll fall asleep. But I want to be like this. I want Swadesh Foundation to be like this. And it has been, it's a privilege. People say, oh, you left media and you joined this and how wonderful. And I'm going, what? Sorry, I was going to say a bad word, but But what rubbish. This is really where it's at. I mean, you just can't get a better job. There is no better job than this. And if you can do this with your whole heart and your whole mind and everything that you have at your disposal, your time, your energy, maybe a bit of money from you and others, you know, this is the best job in the world. And I wish it for myself, and I wish it for the people in Swadesh, and I wish it for all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I always give up my media work and then turn to be the CEO of Diamond Camp. So forget about media. Now you make good use of media to promote what you do. That is what a way.
So first of all, thank you very much for that speech. Actually, one thing that I could talk about is our founder, Jackson, has been talking about a 360-degree model for a very long time. And when I was preparing for you, introducing you, I texted him right away. I was like, hey, what you're talking about, someone's exactly doing it. And he was like, make sure to get her card because I want to copy that model. So that's something that I will be talking to you about. But other than that, I think everyone here thoroughly enjoyed that. And we're coming to the close of our first day of the 4th annual conference of the AVPN conference. So I guess we want to leave you with some of the closing comments as MCs, what we saw. And maybe we could actually get some comments from the crowd as well of what they thought their first day or what they thought about this year if you attended previous years before. So one thing that I want to highlight is some quotes that we got from the breakout sessions. And one was, social investment skills require different skills than grants. Investment skills require perspective as a shareholder, and this really makes it different. So I thought that was a really good quote to capture one of the sessions.
And my observation, I like very much the breakout sections, talking about the Philanthropy Foundation, what they're doing. I want to highlight my good friend Ken Ito, because a few years ago when I started to join AVPN, joining the meeting, I heard about that. He's going to make a new fund, venture philanthropic fund in Japan. And now today, I not even seen the fund, but even more, I see the deal flow already made, and they focus on the education and childcare in Japan, which is actually tackling the aging population issue. So please join me to give a big applause to Ken Ito. His dream come true with the partnership and also with the AVPN capacity. It's true, you know, we really have some impact in the assessment that we can find here in AVPN. And also, I like the quote that just now Dr. Ang said, don't just think about reduce poverty, create wealth. I think is more positive. And sometimes people don't like to help me to reduce my poverty. Please help me to create my wealth. Maybe a better, you know, understanding on what we are going to serve the people that I want to highlight is this too.
Yeah, so if I could actually just get a comment from someone from the audience about something they heard or maybe something they discussed with someone else during a networking session, it'd be great. So if anyone wants to make a comment on their experience of the first day, then please raise your hand. Or I'm just going to call on you. Okay. Can I please have a comment from you on your experience on the first day of AVPN?
Okay.
And introduce yourself first.
Maybe unfortunately I seated here, right? So you see me. So thank you for it. So I joined I have a presentation in investment pitch, and I love that atmosphere that everyone have energy and the passion, and also investment side. They're really curious and interested in models. So a lot of the energetic discussion happened after presentation, even in small minutes. That atmosphere is my biggest experience. That we want to try something difficult, everybody, and then the people want to support them. So it's not specific comment, but I mean that kind of the positive atmosphere is that I take back today. So thank you.
So any other? My friend Teresa? Give to Asia from US. This is the first time you joined AVPN?
voice can carry quite far. Teresa from Give to Asia. And very nice day. Made me think a lot. And I learned a lot as well. But I think one thing that I would like to see happen at the next conference would be more of space and platform to share mistakes and best practices. The reason why I say that is because, like, take for example, when we talk about toilets, sanitation, clean water projects, it doesn't lack very good models in the developing countries in Southeast Asia. And so before you even tackle or even thinking of like taking it on and invest in them, actually you can easily do some research and look at some of the models, some of the systems, and the definition or even the formula for success. There's plenty out there. I can share that with you. And of course, like, you know, when we are talking about Myanmar, and actually it's very close to heart. I've been going to Myanmar since '08, and I've supported some education and healthcare projects there. And my concern, actually, for Professor, but he's not here now, and it's like, you know, he says he's looking to the next generation, younger generation, you know, to really take it on, right? But I'm so worried about the education. Very dysfunctional education system for how many years? And that's why Barbara's talking about lack of talent, lack of skill sets, you know, in society in general, to take it on. Also, you know, various, you know, sectors, jobs, and so on. So how are we going to really go in as investors, or even social entrepreneurs, or philanthropists, okay, to really tackle what is important, what are the key elements that is going to really help us be more successful, you know, in tackling, you know, and or helping, you know, these rising, you know, countries, you know, to really, you know, reach the economic success and whatnot. So those are the things, and corruption is another area, big area. So those are the things that I want to share with him, but he's just not here.
It's
But
okay,
anyway.
use the connector. Okay.
So that's why I really feel that, you know, looking forward, you know, for the next conference next year, I really would like to tap the audience, you know, who's been out there, not only like, you know, sitting in office or doing work, you know, but more like, you know, for people who have travel experience and really seen it and been there and work with it and really like tackle all, you know, all level, you know, issues and stuff like that, to share, you know, what they see, observation, what are the failures they see, and what kind of best practices and models that they see, you know, and share with
Thank
the
you,
audience.
Teresa.
The good thing about it is that it's not over. We have one more day tomorrow.
Yep.
So I think as a way to challenge the speakers tomorrow and also the participants, maybe talk about some of the failures and maybe some of the learnings that you had to go through to come to a successful point. So, oh, okay, we have a comment from...
I just wanted to say that, you know, to your point, that the best way, the best way to address failure is to have expert partners. And when at Swadesh Foundation, we almost research a partner for more than 9 months. And it's almost like a marriage. It's literally, think you're getting married. And what research will you do now as a good Asian person, right? Not as a good American person, because then, you know, that happens pretty fast. But in Asia, we really take our marriages very seriously, up, down. So what do we do? What do we do? No, sorry. What I mean to say, sorry, let's eliminate the last comment. Delete it. Expert partners. There is no need for you to reinvent the wheel. right? However, do not think that even with the best expert partners, you will not fail. You will fail. And the reason you will fail will be utterly new, even for them, because every geography, every small village is different. Every household is different. And it's really exciting because you have to, at this point in time, we are creating a survey of every household, every of the 2,000 households, and trying to figure out an individual household plan to make them rich, if you like, okay? And we have certain targets, but we do it with the household. It's very painstaking. But we have 35 expert partners who we bounce ideas off every day. Please do that. We have government officers who are fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. You will always find champions. Find your champions and latch onto them and hold on to them for dear life. They will be in all unexpected places. They will be in the community, they will be government, they will be partners, they will be donors, they will be, the professor's not here, as you rightly said, but the CSR bill has fundamentally, in India, we have a 2%, you have to give 2% of your profit above a certain amount every year for philanthropy. It has changed the way giving is happening in India. And some of those people, when I went fundraising, in the last year only we decided to raise funds, the very strange thing when we went to pitch to the corporates is I found to my shock that the head of the company was meeting me. I didn't expect it. I thought some junior level person will come to donate the money. It was the head of the company coming. That's how seriously they were taking it and how interested they were. And I think these are the sparks, if you can throw enthusiastic sparks at them and light them up a bit as you go along the journey, that's going to change things. And one last thing is, please get your youth involved. Please get your youth involved. Ignite a match. Go to universities and talk to them. I do it all the time, and it's really fun. The only problem is they ask me, so what can we do for Swadesh? And I don't have a volunteer program, right? So I said, nothing for Swadesh, but why don't you do something on your own? Do it for one person, but do it. So if you can make giving cool, if you can make philanthropy is not for rich people. Philanthropy is for everybody. It is for a student, it is for my maid. My maid is a phenomenal philanthropist. Every night, that lady goes and feeds all the stray dogs on my street. Every single night. Every night. And when she's not there, we do it. When she goes on leave. So everyone can be a philanthropist. These are the things you all need to take out. You need to ignite a revolution. You need to do that. It can only be done with young people. Sorry.
Thank you. Another 1 million people that we are going to have the target, right? Okay, thank you very much. Very inspiring. Can you give a big applause to extra Q&A session? Okay, I think it's closing time. Tomorrow, I need to have some housekeeping to remind you guys. Remember, we have our People's Choice Award for the winning investment showcase. Please do your voting until tomorrow, 2 p.m. In your program book, page 20, you will have the QR code to vote. And tomorrow, this is the closing already. We will have our closing keynote speech presented by our John Zhang, our Financial Secretary of Hong Kong SAR government. He's a really nice guy. You will meet him tomorrow. And he's always got a happy problem, that is we have too much surplus in Hong Kong government. He has to think how to spend it wisely. So maybe tomorrow he will talk about how he will invest for the future of Hong Kong. And the last one is a dinner, right? Getting hungry. Only those people, if you find a coupon in your name tag, that you can go to the dinner place that in nearby. And for the others, so see you tomorrow here, the same auditorium. And all the dinner crews were already arranged the buses in Block Y, the same as yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so good night and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.